so excited.
It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielsen, Matt Kassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Welcome to Two Guys and a Goalie. Tom Gazzola in for Dusty Nielsen. He, of course, is on CFL and TSN duty. Joaquin Gage in studio, and Matty Kassian will be joining us shortly. I see he's getting all set up at his satellite studios. Two Guys and a Goalie, of course, brought to you by GS Construction, setting the industry standard for 50 years with quality, efficiency, and safety driving their success. GS Construction has a foundation built on teamwork, and now they want to become a part of the team. And that's you becoming a part of the team. Visit www.gsconstruction.ca and click Ready to Work if you visit their page at indeed.ca. With the Next Person Up program at GS Construction, it's not just a job, it's a career. And you can attest to that knowing Terrence Sandwith, who works and is an operator and owner of GS Construction.
Hey, man, I saw the work that Tran was putting in before he took over the company. He was hard at work at his apartment in Hamilton studying for his MBA. Like, I remember him going through that and just going, "Oh my gosh, this is awful." But put in the time and look what he's done with that company. It's hard to go through the city of Edmonton without seeing them doing some work around the city. So great job.
That would have been when he was still playing. He was doing his MBA.
Yeah. So that was I think he played 2 more years after that. So he won in it was in Hamilton. Then he went to, I believe, Belfast, and then he went to Finland too. So and then called it quits and took over the company.
And it's grown. It's huge. Celebrating 50 years. That's insane.
Unreal.
And his dad was in charge of it before.
Yeah. Dad charged it back
in
in 72. I think is
74.
74.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 74. Sorry, 2
Yeah.
years old. It's been around for a long time. His dad's great. Met him once. He's just he's kind of just living life, and Turan's doing it now. So
nice to have him on board here on Two Guys and a Goalie. Let's bring in the other guy. We've got the goalie. I'm one guy. Cass is the other guy. There he is. Hello, Cass. You doing all right? Everything's good?
Guys, I'm doing good. Good. Yeah, busy day. I figured I didn't want to pull a Gager and run to the bathroom halfway through. So I a minute or two behind. But
he does
we're
that.
good. Lots of news. I'm excited for the bigger, hotter headlines today when we get to that by Big Mamas, Big Papas, because it's we got lots to talk about, fellas. Not just the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers.
Thank you for the reminder. I've got like 1 million pages of paper here. These are not shows that I generally do the main hosting for. I'm proud to be doing it. I'm glad that they trust me to do it and hang out with you guys, which is always great. But I'll have to get that liner for Big Mamas, Big Papas, bigger, hotter headlines. We also have Hire It or Fire It, which is presented by GS Construction. And then we'll get to your text as well, 780-218-9999, and then the nasty chat. I wasn't paying attention to the nasty chat on the hangout today earlier, boys, and Quinn Phillips was just giving me the gears. She's like,
"Oh no,
pay attention to the nasty chat." She was texting me. I'm sorry. But a couple of things before we get up and running here. Jen, via the nasty chat, says, "Nice placement on the desk, Tommy." Thank you, Jen, but that is not my doing. That was Joaquin, who smartly put up a conch, a bottle of Birdie Booze, and a delicious can of 6 o'clocker lagers. So nicely done, Gager.
No, I mean, usually Dusty has tons of stuff around, so I thought
he does.
You're a little bit more aesthetically correct in that respect.
Yes.
So I thought we would get some proper product placement and put some of the things that are doing quite well.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see. It was funny because I've gone into a few establishments and seen Birdie Booze in the shelves of liquor. So good job, boys.
Nicely done. Nicely done. And good call on this, Gager. Indeed. The Oilers did practice today. They're on the ice at 11 at the downtown community arena. Snoop Dizzy is taking over the big rink. And do you think nobody's going from the team to that show tonight? Except for the Black Aces, right?
Oh, Black Aces are there for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they're there.
100%.
Yeah. No, I definitely. We were speaking of the Black Ace journey.
Yep.
Over the past 2.5 months here. They're going to need a little bit of a break too, because it's they live like roadies essentially right now, and a lot of fun, a lot of bonding.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell the famous story of when I was a Black Ace, and it consisted of beers, Arby's, and golf. Essentially, that's what it was.
Where's the problem here?
with getting bag skated with weight vests on, pushing nets around before the main practice.
Oh,
but
okay, that part sucks.
That part but kept us in shape.
Yes, it did. Absolutely. So when you got to the bar, everybody and all the girls were looking at you guys. Be like, ooh, those are the Oilers Black Aces.
Yeah.
Cass, did you ever have a black? I know before you stuck with Minnie. Were you called up as a Black Ace at all? Did you have any experiences like that?
We didn't make the playoffs, so my experience as Black Aces was limited because we just never made the playoffs.
Man.
So it was just talking with other guys about it as they were going through the Black Ace experience was more of it, and just having to see, and even in Ottawa, having the Black Aces there when we were in the playoffs. So yeah, no, I got enough Black Aces stories from other guys, but not for myself. So I never had to really go through that, which I'm not unhappy about, because you also missed out at the same time.
Sure.
So yeah, I didn't. Not the same as Gager. No, didn't have it.
Are they getting paid right now? Like, does the team get, or is it just you're there?
You're just there.
You're basically there.
Yeah.
Your expenses are covered. Like, you get a per diem.
Yeah.
You get per diem. Your like room paid for, and that's it. But yeah, no bonus pay, no extra pay.
Now, I can't. First of all, like, if you look at the Oilers situation, all those guys, they're here, they're practicing. All their meals are taken care of when they're at the rink. I mean, the spread that in the kitchen and the locker room is amazing. So that portion is easily taken care of, obviously. Their room and board taken care of, obviously. So they've got it pretty good. I can't imagine they're paying for many drinks either. Bouncing around these local establishments. People know who they are. They can and then I'm sure, confirm nor deny, one or the other, they're getting to know restaurant owners and managers and becoming friends and getting on first name basis with all of them around the arena.
Well, if they're not, they should be.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and then kind of grease the wheels, so to speak, and it's kind of almost preparing for life after hockey, making those contacts, Tommy. That's
that's important. That's super important.
That's the reason why I'm here, Cass.
I know.
It works. Just networking. We got this text from Big Maple via the Nasty Chat. It says, beers, Arby's, and golf. Can't wait to tell my wife I'm considered a Black Ace.
No, well, you shouldn't do it and be the. Well, I had to play the one time, and I told this story numerous times. But yeah, I was full. Not beers though. I wasn't full of beers because the Oilers were playing that night. And it was still regular season. It wasn't playoffs. But managed to actually back up and get into the game after 18 holes of golf at Mill Woods and a couple beef and cheddars.
That's the lunch of a champion right there. All right, we've got some updates from the arena. The Oilers did practice at the downtown community arena. They're holding their media availability right now. There's tweets coming out with some quotes coming from the team after arriving from South Florida yesterday. Frank Saravalli reported Chris Noblock on Evander Kane's status for Game 6. We have possibilities. That's a non-answer. I don't assume he's coming back. He stayed out late with the Black Aces and the extra guys the other day going into game number 5. Chris Johnston had a quote from Matthias Ekholm says that the Oilers are playing free right now. Cass, when you hear Matthias Ekholm saying that the Oilers are playing free, how do you interpret that?
Well, every game's the last game of the playoffs, Tom. Nothing left to hold back. I mean, that's what that is. They're playing free because it's, you're living as if there's no tomorrow, because there's not at this point. As I've said repeatedly on here and on the Oil Stream pre and post game show, they keep buying themselves time, but they haven't bought any more space because there is no more space. Your backs are still firmly pressed against the wall. So it's like there's nothing left to save it for. There's no tomorrow. So, yeah, I mean, not surprised they're playing free and feeling free, because it's just like you got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have the
Outside of the Stanley
Cup,
Cup.
but you got nothing to lose. Yeah.
That old thing.
That thing.
I wonder, because everyone's made a point of the family getting dragged back and forth now, Edmonton, Florida, looking at the whole situation, I think almost it's detrimental to be up 3-0 in a series.
Right.
Because now, all the family and friends are coming to each and every game, wherever that is, and especially the amount of travel that's from Miami to Edmonton now. And I think they got a little bit ahead of themselves, but not to say that it's added pressure. It's a little bit, but I think just, your mom and dad are coming, sisters, brothers, wife, kids, coming to these back and forth to these games. It's got to be a little bit draining, Cass, wouldn't you say? I would
draining for the families, but I don't know. I would disagree with you on that.
You think?
Pressure's still on the team that's down 3-0. It's detrimental and harder on the families, yeah, but they're not calling. The Kachucks aren't calling Matthew being like, "Oh, you better win because we don't have to fly to Edmonton again."
You don't think so?
No, I can't imagine. Again, pressure for the families, hard for the families in that. But I mean, I would way rather take the being up 3-0 and being like, "Oh, my family has to fly, and it takes us until game 4, game 5, game 6, game 7, however long it takes us. I don't care. I just want to win a cup and win a cup with them there." So I don't know. I don't know.
Think we've all seen the commercial. Don't you think Brady's going? If I have to fly back to Edmonton one more time here. Enough's enough. Get this thing done. I got to get back. I have a season to get ready for, is what Brady's saying.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Playing free, Evander Kane's status, sure. Edmonton, can it continue to push this thing and make it go to a game 7? Yes, the families and the distractions that they can provide, all of that stuff. How about just tomorrow and staying in the moment, Cass and Gager too, not letting the outside noise get in there? If you were still playing and if you were in this scenario that the guys on the Oilers and even the Florida Panthers are in right now, what would your strategy be in terms of just staying focused on the task at hand, and that is the game and the 60 minutes you need to play to keep that hope alive? Cass, we'll start with you.
Yeah, a lot of Fortnite, a lot of Call of Duty, not so much on the social medias. Have someone else help me out, pick up my groceries so I don't have to be out and about, and just go through my normal game day and practice day routines at the rink. It is just shutting off the noise as much as possible. Now, for me, it's I wasn't one of the star players. I didn't have to deal with as much on the media side and with the circus that can be. In the Stanley Cup Final or the playoffs in general. So, yeah, I mean, I just would be shutting out everything I could. Just focus on my sleep, focus on my prep, and as I said, put the phone away.
Yeah,
just put the phone away. Yeah, and even on that, your phone's on do not disturb a lot. Right. I think so. You're not having to look at answer texts from friends and family and everybody. Not that you don't love them, but you just got to be in focus mode.
Would it get to the point right now where you need your significant other, whether it's the wife or girlfriend? A lot of the Oilers are I don't think there's a lot of single guys left on the team. So me personally, Gager, I would just be like, you take my phone, you're in charge. But that could be dicey too.
None of the guys are doing that.
So I'm regretting saying that because that one might be a little bit dicey. But I would almost just just put it away and just lock it somewhere and not look at it.
I mean, this is where who's the first people that they thank when they win? My family. They've made all this possible. I told the story about some of the wives going to True Blue Swim over these past few months, and just they're at their wits' end as the focus of their significant other has been sleep, eat, and play hockey.
Right.
And while they have the toughest job of looking after their family. So, I try. I would almost. I like your Call of Duty kind of suggestion, Cass. Like completely disconnecting. I think because thinking about it too much can be detrimental as well. The ability to unplug and just get away. It'd almost be like you've seen teams in the past that have come here for playoffs. If there's any amount of time in between games, you see them kind of even get out of town. So. I mean, for the Panthers, and I'm sure this was kind of the thinking of what Paul Maurice had by delaying that extra day, like having an extra day in Edmonton, coming from Miami, where these guys can go where they want. Sure. I think there's probably not a lot of people coming to here. Well, where you're gonna go to a restaurant or wherever, walk down the street, and someone's going to give you a suggestion of your fourth line combinations. It's a different animal. And I think that the Oilers being in it for longer, I think is a benefit rather than the Florida Panthers are basically, they're prisoners in their own hotel room.
And I was just that made me think of this, speaking of their hotel room here, there's a lot of action in and around that hotel, and people can wander in, and I know that they have like security and the valet and all that, but I've noticed way more activity around the team hotel right across from the arena. Like, would you have to be stuck in that hotel and like you can't go anywhere, even if you're a Florida Panther, can you?
I don't think so.
A lot of Fortnite and Call of Duty.
Exactly. All right, let's get to. I saw a nasty chat here. It's from Kevin Kassian. Any relation, Maddie?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay,
possibly,
Kevin,
probably.
Kevin Kassian says Florida hasn't done this much traveling over the past 3 years. I'm sure the excessive travel is affecting them. You touched a little bit about that on the Hangout today, Gager, just like the amount of games that Paul Maurice said it's taken to play, and they do have pretty easy travel. They haven't come out west since Dallas. Cass, I think you brought that up a couple weeks ago. How much of an effect do you think this travel going back and forth has had on them, Cass?
I mean, both teams are doing it the same. And like the time change both teams have to deal with. Again, you're getting on chartered flights. It's not like you're sitting at the airport for hours and hours and hours and having to route through everywhere all the time. You got to stop for gas. But I don't know. I don't overly buy into that. I don't think that wears now. Maybe mentally, having to go back to Edmonton and being like, shoot, we should have wrapped this up. We had 2 chances. We didn't get it. Like that maybe wears on you. But the travel in and of itself, both teams are having to deal with it. So I think it's a non-factor, in my opinion.
B-Mother Reviews texting in via the nasty chat. Gage, I'm going to throw this one at you. Pressure on Panthers is increasing, but still more on the Oilers since it is an elimination game for them. If you're internally, are you starting to question yourself if you're the Panthers or no?
Not too much, because the game 4 is kind of a wash,
Yeah.
That you knew you were done by the end of the first almost. Last game, kind of something slipped away a little bit. You could look at certain opportunities that they had to score first or tie it up. Didn't happen. And we talked about the length of playing hockey at this point, and these are what boxers refer to as the championship rounds.
Right.
You're in the deep waters. You're no longer touching the bottom of this. This is where you really find out the intestinal fortitude of players playing this long with so much at stake. At the point of the series where it's at right now. So, this is great. I love it. I thought this thing was over a long time ago. This is where you're really going to find out the true mantle of certain players, and I think it bodes well for the Oilers up to this point, just because they've faced elimination the past 2 games.
It's going to be interesting to see how this all develops. All right, some quotes coming down from the rink right now as the Oilers did hold their practice at 11 in the downtown community arena, and they are doing their media avails as well. Zach, were you trying to grab those? Is that what you're going to do? Okay, sounds good. So hopefully we'll be able to play some of that as we roll along here on Two Guys and a Goalie. Gazzola in for Nielsen, Joaquin Gage and Matt Kassian with you as we roll through this Thursday afternoon. Gene Principe with this quote from Chris Noblock. I have a team full of guys who want to play 2 more games, not just 1. And I'm not surprised to hear that. How do you gut it out for these next 2? How do you gut it out for this next 2? Gager?
Oh, gosh. I mean, obviously from the Panthers' standpoint, let's get this done.
Yeah.
Let's enough's enough. We want to what did a coach here, I forget who it was that said it. Anyways, let's go home 47 pounds heavier,
right.
with that cup. That's how they're looking at it. You can't look past the next game, and that's the danger of Edmonton, is just getting a little bit too ahead of themselves. Okay, we got to win this one, then we got to. From the Panthers, just have to focus on one game. They know they can. They don't have to worry about Game 7. If it happens, it happens. Oilers have to get things done in Game 6, which, geez, and I know I've said over the past, and people have reminded me that I've kind of counted the Oilers out in certain situations, the way things looked. I still, to beat the Florida Panthers 4 games in a row is a tall task. And although they seem to be firing, the Panthers you're going to see a few different effort levels from Panthers, I think, from guys that maybe we haven't seen. Look to, Verhaeghe. He has been kind of dormant this series so far. And we've talked about Leon at length on all the shows here. Is he banged up? It looks like there's something wrong. If he can just muster that kind of effort he had when he had just one leg,
yep.
He's done it before. So they're going to need something like that coming.
We got another quote. I'm going to throw this one at you, Cass. I see we have some clips almost ready to go. Stephen Wino has a quote from Corey Perry. He says, "The guy's on a mission, and we're right there following him." And that's in regard to Connor McDavid. Cass, is it as simple as just saying, well, if the Oilers are going to get over this hump and get over this idea of the Panthers just wanting to get it done, like Gager was alluding to, you just go, well, McDavid's got it?
Oh, well, he's been pretty amazing.
That's
last
why
2
I
games,
said that.
hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to continue to be amazing if they want to win this next game and buy themselves a Game 7. He's going to have to be just as good, and he is on a mission. And the team right now has bought into that mission and believes in it and is supporting him in it. And everyone else has to do so too. Connor Brown's got to continue to be amazing. Penalty kill has to continue to be amazing. Power play, now they've got a little bit of traction, has to find a way to keep that traction going. So there's a lot of things that still have to go right. McDavid can't win it by himself, but he's doing his darnest to make sure that happens. So yeah.
It's been ridiculously incredible to see lately. All right, do we have anything, Zach, to come? We're ready to go with anything?
No, I'm still nabbing it right now.
Still nabbing it right now. Okay, keep those texts coming in. 780-218-9999. It is Two Guys and a Goalie, brought to you by GS Construction. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin Gage, and Matty Kassian with you. We've got some texts here that I want to read out on the text line, 780-218-9999. Mike in Thunder Bay says, Cass, Do you actually think that Keith Tkachuk, the man who wouldn't even throw his hat for his own son's hat trick, isn't getting pissed off at Matthew? He's already the least favorite son, Mike in Thunder Bay. Any response to that, Cass?
He might be. Well, I'm not saying they're not pissed. I'm not saying they're not pissed, but they're not telling that, or at least they shouldn't be.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe he is, but they shouldn't be telling that. Like, they should just be, radio silent, or just, hey, cheering for you, so happy for you, just go get it. Like, that should be the extent of the messages. But who knows? Maybe he's in the wheelhouse and he's just like, you're even my least favorite son now. More than you were before.
Why is Brady the favorite? How do we know this? Do we have did I miss something here? Is it just because Matthew's so annoying, Gager?
No, because Matthew had to go to the back of the SUV in the commercial, right?
Yeah.
Like
he didn't get to keep his seat. Yeah.
Yeah. Brady, I'm surprised he wasn't riding shotgun by the end of it.
Oh man, yeah, that was pretty funny. That commercial was actually good.
Excellent.
You could tell those two were just loving it, and their mom probably enjoyed the heck out of it as well. Okay, let's go to Propane Pimp. Says they don't need to win 4 in a row Friday night. They need to win Friday night's game.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very true. Yep.
Yeah.
Grumpy Cat chiming in says it's tough, sure, but you only need to beat them twice, and you just did. Glass half full, boys.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that. Like, and you got to put everything in the rearview mirror too. The last 2 games don't really matter at this point, right? Mm-hmm. Nothing matters. It's just the next shift, the next 20 minutes, the whole cliche. But what I'm saying is the Florida Panthers. There's a reason why they're in the finals too. Like they're a really, really good hockey team that are well balanced and have the certain personnel where they can take over a game and be difference makers. But so do the Oilers.
Coach Mike has a question. I'm curious to hear both of your opinions on this, and then we're going to go to some clips inside Rogers Place. Coach Mike throws out this. If the Panthers empty the clip but still lose, do they have anything left for Game 7? Same could be said for the Oilers. Cass?
Well, same couldn't be said, because if they lose, it's done.
Yeah.
For the Oilers. Yeah. But yeah, they will. They're a good hockey team. And they're not going to give up because the series is now going to 7 games. They're not going to roll over because the series is going to 7 games. They're going to empty the tank with everything they have. So, yeah, I mean, momentum would heavily be in the favor of the Oilers. But momentum, as we've talked about in the playoffs, sometimes it seems to matter, sometimes it doesn't. Mm-hmm. And I can't, So I think they would have plenty left. Plenty left. Yep.
Yeah, I like the fact that the 8-1 victory, it wasn't, although the Oilers, they played hard, but it didn't empty the tanks. Mm-hmm. The last game, that's a draining game. You're fighting tooth and nail for that, and you're going to be fighting tooth and nail for this next one. I just remember a time talking to Sean Horkoff about 06, and he said going into Game 7, he goes, we were tired. Like we had spent a lot of energy, and they had a good couple chances to score. And if he thought if we would have scored, we would have been fine.
Yeah.
But once Carolina scored the first one, there was just a sense, I don't know if we have enough to get over this at this point. Our tank was empty. We got to a point, and that's you do get to that point. Like you look at some other finals. I look at the St. Louis series when they won the Cup. It just seemed like they just had a little bit more, and without Binnington going nuts there for a bit,
right?
That's the reason that they just had the Bruins were done at that point. You could just see it. They didn't have that little bit of extra, but that was a long time ago too. They're different condition athletes. And you do have Connor.
Are you saying they were all out of shape, Gager?
At that point, yes. Too many beef and cheddars.
Oh, man. Nothing like being a black ace, eating beef and chads, golfing, and then going and enjoying delicious, delicious beers. All right, we do have Chris Noblock, it looks like, Zach, to come.
Yeah, we got a few. We got Chris Noblock up here.
Yep.
And then we also have Corey Perry, Matthias Ekholm, and Stuart Skinner and Connor McDavid. So
lots of good options there. Why don't we start with the coach and see what Noblock had to say? We can run a couple of minutes and kind of play it by ear. Let's start with that. Chris Noblock speaking to the media just a few minutes ago.
So Evander Kane skated with the main group today. It looks like he's playing his way into the conversation. Can you give us an idea of what that conversation looks like? When he's healthy, does he go, or is there some more consideration there?
Yeah, we've got some things to think about. I still haven't seen TD follow up on exactly how good he feels, but we have possibilities.
We'll go that same row with Derek.
Hey, Chris. I just want to ask you, when you guys want to compartmentalize every game, like it's just one entity going to the next, does having the 2-day break help in that regard, or would you rather kind of try and take some momentum from the last one?
I think it'd be best to play. I don't know, just get it over with and move on, not have the 2 days off where you talk about momentum, but I don't think momentum lasts very long. I think our guys feel good, but it is what it is. You know, after losses, I can say that we want to get back at it and not think about it too much. After wins, we don't want to think about it too much. We want to get back to playing. So it is, I don't know. I don't think it makes much difference.
Right side, front row, Steven.
Chris, you've known Connor McDavid for a long time, and he obviously puts a lot of pressure on himself and a lot of responsibility for how a team performs. What is it about kind of the way he approaches a game that allows him to kind of handle the pressure he puts on himself and deliver in those moments?
I don't know. Well, I think the first thing is he loves the game. I don't think you can be exceptional at anything you do unless you absolutely love what you're doing, and he loves playing hockey. Obviously, there's some talent that he was inherited. A lot of it he had to work at and improve. I think that's the most important thing. I think he just is a very competitive person also. Wants to win, wants to be the best. So between his love and passion, I think that just allows him to rise up and make those plays at significant times.
Right side, back row, Dan.
Chris, you guys wanted this, right? I mean, you wanted to bring them back here. You wanted to be at the rink today playing. They didn't want any part of this. They wanted to end it the other night. Do you think that plays a role in mindset going into, over these 2 days, going into a game, that one team wanted this and the other team, well, it has to do this because of what happened?
You know, I can't speak for Florida, but I know for our group, we've enjoyed this whole process. We've enjoyed just the fact that we've handled adversity all season. You know, being 32nd in the NHL at one time to facing elimination games in difficult times through the playoffs. And right now, any extra time that we get to spend together, any extra game that we get to play, we feel very fortunate to do. And, you know, we feel very fortunate to be in this Game 6 situation. But I know I've got a team full of guys who are hungry to make sure they get to play 2 more games and not just 1.
Right side, second row, EJ.
All right, that was Oilers head coach Chris Noblock. Cass, anything you pick up on there? Outside, I know he's very subdued and thoughtful, but what'd you pick up out of all that?
Well, kind of what we've been talking about. I think he would agree with us in that, you know, momentum can carry game to game, but it doesn't necessarily in the playoffs carry game to game. And that, you know, they want to get after it. They don't want to sit. They want to play. But the schedule's a schedule. It's not going to change. Both teams have to deal with it. So, yeah, I mean, the Oilers got to do a good job of carrying that momentum as much as possible.
I apologize. It was Brady that went to the back seat.
Oh.
Yeah, I for some reason I thought Matt went back. Everyone corrected me. You're right. I'm wrong, as in most cases. But yeah, so I guarantee now he's riding shotgun. Though.
Hey now. Do you think they're riding together as a family or no?
I'm sure they meet up. How do you not? Like, that must be a neat kind of relationship with your dad being a very successful NHL player, right? Obviously, he never won a cup, but had a ton of success and was a captain like, how do you not talk to your dad about these types of things? And
You have to.
You have, and bouncing things off your brother, who's a NHL superstar in his own right.
Yeah.
Like, this is that wealth of experience. I mean, I could see a lot of guys not hanging out too much with their family at this point, but in Matthew's case, I'm sure that he's having a few large porterhouses with Walt.
Oh, delicious. And they're probably rolling around in Uber XLs. Just a hunch.
Probably.
Just a hunch. All right, we have to get our next qualifier into the $100,000 hole-in-one contest happening July 3rd at the Ranch Golf and Country Club, and $100,000 on the line. Of course, our partners over at Golftown helping to make this happen, as well as the Ranch. Big thank you to Murray B. over at Golftown and Murray McCourt, who does the VIP golf show here on EST Sundays at 8 a.m. with the one and only Curtis Stock. All right, so go check out Golftown. They've got great deals and specials and sales all season long, and then their end-of-season sales are phenomenal. They do some great stuff in the winter as well, but they have been a great partner for this $100,000 hole-in-one contest, the 17th at the Ranch. And out, that's going to be the distance. Murray McCourt will be there to witness, so he'll make sure that if someone drains this thing, he'll be there to attest to it and sign it off. And we want someone to win 100 Gs. Only one winner, and if somebody wins on like the 5th shot, it's over.
That's it.
Them's the rules.
That's
and
it.
Dunzo. Exactly. Awanic always wants to make sure that people are fully aware of this. So
This is just in from Matthew Kachuk in the Nasty Chat. I ride to the game with Mommy. She hypes me up.
Oh, that's good. Today's keyword, text it to 780-218-9999, is Marion. Merion. Marion. Merion. Text that in right now to be entered into qualify as one of 25 participants at our hole-in-one contest July 3rd at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. Marion. Merion. Right now, 780-218-9999. Zach to come will pick a winner, and we are off and running. Let's go now to the bigger and hotter headlines brought to you by Big Mama's and Big Papa's Pizzeria. BMPP is a real pizzeria restaurant, not just a delivery pizza chain serving authentic Italian cuisine with their maiden house pizza dough, traditional tomato sauce, and fresh toppings. Each pizza is cooked to perfection, a pizza experience you've been waiting for. Visit them at 128th Ave, 48 97th Street. Order today, www.bmpp.ca, or call 587-746-0550. Bigger and hotter headlines. Trades happening, boys. Trades happening in this little lull between games of the Stanley Cup Final. Pierre-Luc Dubois, Cass, I asked Gager a little bit about this, but there he goes again out of paradise, and he's off to DC. What did you make of it when you heard about that deal?
I mean, I was surprised Washington made that deal. Like, that's
yeah.
And kudos to Rob Blake for getting that done. Wow, I didn't think he was. I thought he was going to be bought out for sure. I didn't think he was going anywhere. Not for a straight up trade like that, and for a goaltender that the LA Kings could probably use. So, again, kudos to Rob Blake. Pierre-Luc Dubois hasn't been able to find his rhythm. We forget sometimes he's still a young guy. Like, he's not an old player. He's been around because he's been in the league.
14,
but he's not an old player. Yeah, but that's a lot of teams and not a long time. So, yikes. I don't know what Washington was doing, guys.
Where is Washington going, Gager?
Trying to get Ovechkin to score past Gretzky. That's all they're. After that, then they'll refocus. And they have some good young players or whatever, but
Sure.
I think they're just. This is Ovechkin watch territory for them, and maybe Dubois playing center with Ovi can help, but I don't know. I mean, he's lost the Backstrom. That's the only thing. But then we saw what Ovi did at the end of the year. But I like what you just said, Cass. It actually, because I've been like saying Rob Blake's been spending too much time in the sun. Kudos to him for getting this done. But when you look back, like we always look at trades and see what it actually looks like. And now Kemper for Iafallo was in that deal. Like those 3 players that went over for the Jets now. That's a hefty price for what they had to pay, and not much return on 3 really good NHL players.
Okay, another guy from that same draft in the top 5 could be on the move once again, and that's Patrick Laine. GM Don Waddell, the new GM of the Columbus Blue Jackets, says he wants to make a hockey trade when it comes to Laine. He did point out that it is possible Laine does stay. What's going on? I know Laine's had some struggles. I think there's been some family stuff that has bothered him. He's been injured, but there's another franchise, and we talked again a little bit about it on the Hangout. Like, what are the Columbus Blue Jackets? Where are they going? How do they rectify their situation? Why doesn't Cass, a guy like Patrick Laine, want to stick around there?
Yeah, I mean, those are big questions. A hockey trade too for Columbus. What does a hockey trade look like? Like, what does that even mean?
They get another star player for Laine, right?
But you're not. But who's going to trade their star player for Laine? Like, it's a tough one to me. Now you have a player that, and we've seen for personal reasons where players want out of teams at times, whether it's just mentally, emotionally, they need a change and need a change of scenery. But yeah, for Laine, it's going to be an interesting situation. You have a guy with some injury history. He's got some things he's dealing with, and so if I'm the GM of an opposing team, I'm like, well, am I going to roll the dice and take a chance, and am I going to be willing to move good or very good assets to get that? I don't know. So I don't necessarily, guys. I know there's bluster about trading him, but when I look at the path forward for the Columbus Blue Jackets, I kind of go, you have to do what you can to get him on board and to keep him and hopefully to get back. Because if you look at his production, when he's actually healthy and when he's actually playing, he still has really good production. He's still a guy that can be an elite goal scorer in the NHL. So I don't know. I know you're gonna talk about the potential moving him, and there's gonna be conversations about it. But gentlemen, I don't see it happening. With that being said, I didn't see Dubois getting moved either. So maybe I'm out to lunch.
Yeah, I mean, talk about that draft. Those other than Matthews was first in that draft.
Let's go. I'm going to look at that.
Then you look at the next 3. All have been not without issues with their teams. I mean, with Puljujarvi, I don't think has he signed a pro deal yet, or is he?
No, he's got 1 year left.
1 year left with
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
They gave him a 2-year deal.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh
okay. So I mean, but still, these seem like guys that just haven't been able to figure it out, or circumstances not in their control have affected their play. So with Laine, it's tough because you want to know where his head's at. Where's his mentality at? This is another team where he wants to leave. It's just it always boggles my mind when guys are like, I don't want to play here anymore. To me it's a little bit selfish. And as I said, hang on, I'm not a GM. I never could be, but I would take offense to a player saying that about the organization that I was part of.
The top 5 that year: Austin Matthews, obviously tremendous player, one of the best in the league. Cass, best in the world according to you, obviously. Patrick Laine, 2nd overall. Pierre-Luc Dubois, 3rd overall. Jesse Puljujarvi, 4th to Edmonton. Ole Juolevi, 5th to the Canucks. That clearly didn't work out either. Then you got Matthew Tkachuk and Clayton Keller. Those are 2 pretty damn good players. Alex Nylander at 8. Mikhail Sergachev, great pick by the Canadians, who flipped him over to the Lightning. And then Tyson Jost, Logan Brown, Michael McLeod, Jake Bean, Charlie McAvoy, good pick there. Luke Kunin, great pick there. Chychrun's been interesting. Like, so many of these guys from this draft have been bounced around the NHL, especially the top 5. Like, it's one of those weird years, I guess. I don't know how else to describe it. All right, bigger, hotter headlines. One more for you guys, and this is kind of a bigger picture thing, but it'll start with one player in particular. You're the Vegas Golden Knights, and you're telling Anthony Mantha that you don't want him anymore after trading for him at the deadline. I know the Golden Knights have some cap issues, clearly, as we have talked about ad nauseum. But if you're a player who has a lot of high-end capabilities, has shown it at the NHL level. Not consistently. I know Mantha has struggled with that. That's got to be an ego blow, don't you think, Cass?
Yeah, a little bit, but I think he probably realizes a situation where they just don't have the money. And they have to make these hard decisions. So is it going to be a blow to his ego? Maybe a little bit, but you're going to get paid somewhere else. You're going to be a UFA. It's not like you're not going to get paid. Maybe a little ego blow, but at the same time, they don't have the cap space. And you had to be looking at as well as another couple players on the Vegas Golden Knights going like, I don't know how they can fit me in here. I don't know how they're going to be able to, if I want to get what I feel I deserve from a contract standpoint, I don't know how they're going to retain me. And Mantha is just the first victim of that in Vegas.
Gager, this is like a 40, what do they have? 44 points, 45 points this year, 20 goals, 20 assists type of guy, big body guy.
How much did he make last year? Do you have that?
I can look that up for you. I can look that up really
But
quickly.
I'm just wondering, because he came to Detroit as a, expected to take over kind of that number one role, center role, right? And then Washington, it didn't kind of work out in Detroit. Goes to Washington, maybe can revitalize the career. Didn't meet his expectations. Part of the piece of the puzzle, I think, was what the Vegas Golden Knights looked at him, a little bit more stability. I don't know. I don't think he gets what he was probably looking for.
5.7.
Yeah,
for the last 4 years.
I don't think you get that, but maybe it's the role that you're bringing him into. Maybe he's not. Maybe you look to him to have more success in that, maybe moonlight in the top six, but be a more stalwart figure on that third line, right? He doesn't have those expectations where he has to go in and put up the 40, 50 points. He just has to be a good, solid player and then be reliable in the playoffs. So I'm sure a GM will take a run at him.
All right, his career totals, he's not cracked 50 points yet in his career. Like Gager just alluded to, mostly a 40-point guy. Hit 48 points a couple of times. He's had 1, 2, 3 20-goal seasons. Like a good NHLer, but like overpaid at 5.7 casts. Is he getting a haircut?
Probably. I mean, you're looking at like a 4 to 4.5,
right?
Wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Depending on the team, maybe he goes to a team where he knows he can have success, right? Maybe then you look more 2.5, 3. I mean, looking at the Oilers, I know we'll talk about it, but he could come up in conversations and on that third line possibly to wherever the Oilers land.
Right.
I don't know. 20 goal scorer on your third line, big, strong, centerman. That's what kind of they've been looking for all year.
Yeah. Interesting. That's an interesting point there. I think that would be something that would be looked at. Whoever's running the show here in Edmonton in 10 days, which is insane.
My resume's in.
All right, there you go.
Got submitted.
Right. Hire it, fittingly, now we get to Hire It or Fire It, presented by GS Construction. GS Construction is hiring now. Become a part of their great team today by visiting gsconstruction.ca or their page on indeed.ca. For the past 50 years, the foundation of GS Construction has been built on efficiency, quality, and safety. Take your career to the next level. Join the team at GS Construction.
And they don't plug up the lanes too. They make sure the pylons so traffic goes smoothly at GS.
This was a thing this morning. This was a big thing, and I understand it, so I appreciate that. GS Construction. Okay, we're going to start with an easy one here and a fun one. Hire It or Fire It. The Kings' new logo, which is kind of an ode to the past, is rock solid and the right choice.
I haven't seen it. Have you seen
you
it,
were
Cass?
looking at it earlier.
I haven't seen it. I'm pulling it up right now.
I'm loading it up. I wasn't looking at it.
I thought you were looking at it.
It wasn't me.
It's basically their old logo with a new font and a different crown.
Oh. I wouldn't, if you told me that was, it looks the same to me. Fire it.
Fire it. Cass?
What was the difference between is Hire It, I like it, Fire It, I don't like it, or it doesn't make a difference?
Right.
I'm going to fire it. It doesn't make a difference. Like, I'm looking at it here. I'm like, yeah, I can't really tell either. So,
all right.
I mean, it's a good logo, great jerseys. Doesn't look any different.
I think they should go back to the purple. tell you the truth.
It is a good look.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, on the jersey train, hire it or fire it, the Minnesota Wild going to the old North Stars colors is the right move.
Like, if you're looking for a job going to GS Construction, you hire it. You hire that thing. It's awesome.
Cass, you were a Minnesota Wild. Do you think that's the right move? They're keeping the logo. They're just going back to the old Minnesota North Stars look, like the bright green and the yellow, and then the logo.
Are they actually doing that?
They're doing it. They're doing it.
Is it for sure? Because I thought they denied it.
There's like another year to go.
I don't know. I don't know. I like the we'll call it the old Minnesota Wild colors, like not the North Stars ones. And I like the North Stars colors too. I think they're sweet as a third. But I don't know. I like the Wild jerseys. Now logo's not my favorite thing in the world. The either bearhead or forest scene, depending on how you're looking at it, and depending on the person looking at it. But I like the colors. Like I like the colors. Like, and I've loved the kind of that cream and green, like dark green when they've done that. Like, I don't know. I've liked the colors. I've liked it with the red in there. So I'm not on board with it. So if that means fire it, then fire it.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. How about this one? After the Jacob Markstrom trade yesterday that the New Jersey Devils made, they are now a contender. Hire it or fire it?
Hire it. They were missing goaltending. That was a huge piece for them. Huge piece. I'm going to hire it for sure.
Yeah, I'll hire it too because old Doug Hamilton was out for a significant amount of time. If he's in the lineup too with that young core, I think he solidifies him. Hire it.
Hire it. All right. One last one. The Maple Leafs need to trade Mitch Marner this offseason. Cass, hire it or fire it?
Why are you asking me first? Do they need to? I'm gonna hire it because you still need to improve other areas of your team. So I'm gonna hire it, but I don't know. I want to fence it, but I'm gonna hire it. So
okay, Gager.
Hire it. It hasn't worked. You need to shake up the core four, so to speak. Something needs to change in Toronto, and I think it's with Marner.
Boom. All right, boys. Any final thoughts going into Game 6? I know, Cass, we're going to get you on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show for Game Changers tomorrow. But Gager, what are you anticipating tomorrow?
Just a awesome day, I think. That's what I'm looking forward to. From people cutting out of work early and getting prepared. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it works out for everyone and we can see some more high fives with strangers throughout the streets.
High fives with strangers are nice. Don't hit
that would be awesome.
People's hands too hard. Cass, nobody's working past 1 o'clock tomorrow, right?
I doubt it. If you're going to be, ordering a massive Big Mama, Big Papa's pizza, make sure you do it early because it's going to be buzzing. Going to be buzzing.
Yes, I love it. bmpp.ca if you want to get one of those monster pizzas. Check them out, our fine partners over at Big Mama's Big Papa's. We do have to give away an entry into the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival for a VIP table for 4. Great Outdoors Comedy Festival coming to Edmonton July 12th to 14th at Kinsman Park, featuring Shane Gillis, Andrew Schultz, Kevin Hart, Burt Kreischer, Whitney Cummings, and more. For tickets, visit www.greatoutdoorscomedyfestival.com and watch for our partners over at Alley Cat to be the exclusive beer sponsor of the event featuring the 6 o'clocker lager. The keyword to text in to 780-218-9999 to get into this giveaway is going to be timeout. Like Brady Tkachuk goes to timeout in the back of the vehicle for roughhousing with his brother, Matthew. So timeout. It can be one word or two. Text that in right now to 780-218-9999 to get into the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival entry for a VIP table for 4. Timeout right now. Text that in. Boys, thanks for dealing with me all day. Appreciate it. Cass, you get to deal with me tomorrow, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Gager, fantastic work as always, my friend.
Thanks, buddy.
That's good.
And I'll join Eric tomorrow morning. So.
And he's in this, tomorrow morning with Eric, who's going to be Business Rick.
His Business Rick
Ponytail, collared shirt,
All right.
no messing around. Great job by Jay Milne earlier today. Another fantastic day of programming here on EST. To everybody who watched and listened, whether it was on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Apple Music, EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player, and of course YouTube. Hit that thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. We appreciate you. For the boys, Matty Kassian, Joaquin Gage, and Zach to come, I'm Tom Gazzola saying enjoy your afternoon. Ciao, ciao.